Good morning friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In the last few videos, I have discussed how the CSS can be added to HTML documents in three ways. One is the inline CSS, internal CSS and external CSS. In the last two videos, I have discussed in detail about the inline CSS and internal CSS. In inline CSS, we can apply the style to the HTML element individually. Suppose let's take that in a web page you have multiple h1 tags. For each tag, if you want to add a separate style, that is possible using the inline CSS. For a particular tag, whatever the style you have applied, it will not be applied to the remaining same type of tags in the web page. When it comes to the internal CSS, it can be used when a single HTML document must be styled uniquely. Meaning is that in a web page, if you have h1 tags at several instances, for all the h1 tags, if you want to apply the same style, that is possible with the help of internal CSS. Let me give the glimpse of internal CSS and inline CSS, then I will discuss about the external CSS. In inline CSS, whatever the style you want to apply for a particular tag, in the tag itself you need to use the style attribute and then you need to enclose the property and value separated with a semicolon. Look at here, for the h1 tag here I have used the style attribute and I have used the color as red, background color as yellow. Whatever the style I have applied for this h1 tag will not be applied to the another h1 tag inside the same web page. If I want to apply same style or different style for the h1 tag, then again I need to use the style attribute and then I need to use the property and value separated with a semicolon. Similarly, for the paragraph tag, I have used the style as color yellow and padding as 30 pixel. Whatever the style I have applied for this paragraph tag will not be applied to the another paragraph tag in the same web page. If you want to look at the output, let me save this program, go to the desktop CSS and then right click on the inline CSS, open with Google Chrome. Now you can see this is the h1 tag. So this content has been displayed using the h1 tag. Now you can see the font has been displayed in red color and the background color is yellow, and this content is also displayed using the h1 tag. Now you can see both this content have been used different styles. Similarly, this content has also been displayed using the h1 tag, but the styles have not applied. So this is the way we can use the inline CSS. When it comes to the internal CSS, you need to apply the CSS rules inside the head section using the style tag. Now you can see within the head section I have used the style tag and then I have used the type attribute and provided the value as text or CSS. Then whatever the CSS rules you want to apply, all the rules you should enclose within this style tag itself. So look at here, I have used the three CSS rules. One is for the h1 tag, next one is for the h2 tag and next one is for the paragraph tag. For the h1 tag I have used the color as red, background color as yellow. For the h2 tag I have used the color as blue and background color as red. For the paragraph tag I have used the color as yellow. Inside the body section we will display the content to the user. So within the body session, whatever the content I want to display, that I have enclosed here. Now I have used the two h1 tags to display the Parnika tutorials and best YouTube channel. For these two h1 tags, the same style will be applied which have been written inside the style tag. Similarly, for these two h2 tags, the same style will be applied. Similarly, for the paragraph tag, whatever the style you have provided, that will be added. So like this, for a particular tag, if it is there at multiple instances, if you want to apply the same style, that style you will enclose within the style tag inside the head tag of a HTML document. If you want to display the content, let me go to the browser, CSS, internal CSS.html, open with Google Chrome. Now you can see these two contents have been displayed using the h1 tag. Now you can see the style is same, and these two contents have been displayed using the h2 tag, and for these two h2 tag elements the same style has been applied. Similarly, for the paragraph tag, we have used the color as yellow. The content have been displayed using the yellow color. Now let me discuss in detail about the external CSS. An external style sheet or external CSS is used to define the style for multiple web pages. Inline CSS is used for a specified HTML tag. Internal CSS is used to apply the style for the HTML document, for a single HTML document only. But let's consider that your h1 tag or h2 tag, whatever the tag you want to apply the style, that style is there in multiple web pages. For multiple web pages you want to apply the same style. That is possible using the external CSS. So an external style sheet is used to define the style for multiple HTML pages or for many HTML pages. External CSS contains separate CSS file which contains only style property with the help of tag attribute. So in the inline CSS, the style sheet rules you have written inside the tag. In the internal CSS, whatever the style sheet rules you want to write, we have written with the help of style tag inside the head tag of the HTML document. When it comes to the external CSS, we need to specify separate CSS file. That CSS file should consist of all the CSS rules only. And that file, whatever you have used to write the CSS rules, should have an extension called .css and should be linked to the HTML document using the link tag. So as I said earlier, in external CSS we will have a separate CSS file which contains only style properties with the help of the tag attributes. That CSS file should have an extension called .css, because an HTML document will have the extension called .html or .htm. Similarly, in the external CSS, whatever the style sheets you want to write in a separate document, that document should have the .css extension, and then you need to link this CSS file to multiple web pages, right? That we can do using the link tag. For each element, style can be set only once, and that will be applied across multiple web pages. So that's why it is easy for you to maintain the web pages using the external CSS. You no need to go to all the web pages and change the styles. When it comes to the inline CSS, for each element if you want to change the style, then you need to go to the HTML document and go to every tag and change the style. When it comes to the internal CSS, you need to go to each HTML document and then you need to change the style. In the external CSS, you can go to the CSS file and whatever the changes you want to do for the style rules, that you can do, and then once you apply that one, it will be applied to all the multiple HTML documents. So that's why external CSS are very easy as compared to the inline CSS and internal CSS. Now let me discuss all these steps in detail for you. So first you need to create a separate file with the extension .css. And the next rule is that whatever the styles rules you want to specify, the style rules you need to write inside this .css file. If you want to link this CSS file to the multiple web pages, that you can do using the link tag. So link tag is used to link the style sheet with the HTML web pages. The link tag consists of two attributes. One is the rel and href. Rel attribute consists of style sheet and href attribute consists of value. Whatever the CSS file you want to provide, that CSS file entire location you will provide with the help of href attribute in the link tag. So let me write the generalized syntax of using the link tag. So link tag consists of two attributes. One is the rel. Rel will have the value as style sheet, and then you will use the another attribute called href. This href attribute consists of the entire location of the CSS file, and then you can close the angular bracket. So this is the generalized syntax of using the link tag. So in a particular web page, if you want to link the CSS file in the head section of the HTML document, you need to write this syntax, or you need to use this link tag. So link tag is used to link the style sheet with the HTML web page. As I said earlier, you need to create a separate file with an extension called .css. Suppose let's take that I will write external .css, and inside the CSS file I need to specify only the CSS rules. Suppose let's take that for the h1 tag I want to apply certain style. Let's take that color as red, end with a semicolon, background hyphen color as yellow. Like that, if you want to apply certain styles, then you need to provide inside this external.css. Similarly, I want to add some style to the h2 tag. That property and value you need to provide here. Suppose let me write color as blue and background hyphen color as red, end with the semicolon. Similarly, for the paragraph tag, I want to apply some style as color as yellow, end with the semicolon and end with curly braces. So now whatever the style rules you want to apply, those style rules you need to specify in this CSS file, and then this CSS file you can link to the multiple web pages using the link tag. Now let me discuss all these concepts in detail with an example. Let me go to the desktop, CSS, and then right click on this one, new, and then write the text document, and then I will write external dot CSS. Instead of text, I need to change the extension as CSS. Are you sure you want to change it? Yes, I want to do it. Now let me right click on this one, open with Notepad++. Let me choose another app, more apps, Notepad++. Okay. Now I want to write certain rules. So let me write h1, and then let me write color as red, end with a semicolon, background hyphen color. The value I want to provide it as yellow, and end with semicolon, then close with curly braces. Then again h2 tag, I want to apply the color as blue and background hyphen color as, let's consider that I want to apply yellow only. And then for the paragraph tag, I want to apply the color as yellow. Okay, and then let me end with semicolon and close the curly brace. So like this, all the CSS rules or the style sheets rules I want to write in the external.css file. Now let me save this one, and then I will go to the desktop, CSS, and then I will create several web pages. Okay, I will write first.html. Similarly, I will create one more HTML document, new text document, second.html. Similarly, third.html. Now all these web pages will have some content. Let me write third.html. For all these web pages, if I want to apply the same style, that we can do using the external CSS. Now let me open the first.html, open with Notepad++. Similarly, let me open the second.html and third.html, open with Notepad++. Similarly, let me open the third.html using the Notepad++. Now we have the first.html, second.html, and third.html. Let me copy this content and paste it in first.html, second.html, and third.html. Let me do certain changes. Let me remove this inline style rules. let me do some changes. This is first HTML page. Similarly, using the h2 tag, let me write the content as Parnika tutorials, and then let me close the h2 tag, and then let me remove all this one, and let me copy this content and paste it in second.html and third.html also. Okay, now let me do certain changes in the second.html. This is second HTML page. Okay, like, share and subscribe Parnika tutorials, and let me go to the third.html. This is third HTML page. Please visit Parnika tutorials. Please visit Parnika tutorials. Now let me do those changes and save it. Now let me go to the CSS file, right click on the first.html, open with Google Chrome. Now you can see the content should be displayed, right? Why the content has not been displayed? Let me go to the Notepad++. What happened in first.html, title, body, and everything is perfect. Let me refresh it. Yeah, now the content has been displayed. This is first HTML page Parnika tutorials. But till now, any styles have been applied? No, we did not apply any style. Similarly, go to the CSS, right click on the second.html, open with the Google Chrome. Now you can see why we have not saved it. Let me save it. Okay, third.html also let me save it, and let me go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now the content has been displayed. Similarly, let me display the content which is there in the third.html, open with Google Chrome. Now you can observe, okay, the first HTML page, second HTML page, and third HTML page, the content have been displayed, but however the styles have been not applied. If you want to apply the styles to these HTML pages, then you need to use the link tag. Okay, let me write, this is third page, this is first page. Let me change the title alone, and this is second page. Now we need to link this external.css file to the first.html, second.html, and third.html. So how you can do? You have to use the link tag inside the head tag of all these web pages. So what you need to do, you need to go to the first.html, inside the header tag you need to use the link tag, and then you need to use the rel attribute and href attribute. So rel attribute I will write style sheet, and then href attribute I need to provide the CSS file name. Let me write it as external.css. Let me close this link tag. Now let me use the same link tag in the second.html inside the head section. Similarly, third.html also inside the head section. Let me save all these HTML pages. Let me save the first.html, second.html, and third.html. Let me save this external.css also. Now let me refresh the first.html, second.html, and third.html. Now you can see the same style have been applied to these multiple web pages using the external CSS. See, the same style have been applied in the first.html and second.html and third.html. If I want to do any changes, I can do those changes in the external.css. Okay, let me see, instead of red color here, I want to use the black color. Okay, and in place of blue color, let me use here brown. Okay, let me save this one, and let me go to the browser and let me refresh all these pages. first.html, second.html, and third.html. Now you can see the changes have been applied to all these web pages. So that is the beauty of the external CSS. So it is very easy to maintain the style rules for all the web pages using the external CSS. I hope it is very clear for you about the external CSS. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.